Always great catching up with my next guest, Bryan Battle, who's going to be back in action. Gabe Green, UFC Fight Night, May 13th. Bryan, how's it going, man?
It's going really well. You know what I'm saying? Training's going great. I'm happy to be here talking with you. Ready to fight on May 13th against old boy Gabe Green.
Yeah, if we're talking, it means some fight news is here, which is great. And you
Yeah.
got a new. We were talking off air. You got the new hairstyle. What inspired this? Tell me the decision to do this.
Well, with my long hair, my thing always with it was that I would grow out my hair as long as I had a win streak going on. So,
Ah, okay.
I hadn't lost in a couple of years, so my hair got really, really long. And unfortunately, the streak was broken by Rinat in the last one. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. You know what I'm saying? We learn, we grow, we get better. But that means, stipulation is a stipulation. The hair had to go. And so, the blonde, that actually started off as a joke. My sisters, they were like, "Hey, you should let us dye your hair blonde." We had like a sibling weekend, and I was like, why not? I can always just cut it off if I don't like it. And then I did it, and I was like, you know what, not bad. I'm not mad about it. You know what I'm saying? A little something, little razzle dazzle. You know what I'm saying? So. We're keeping it for the foreseeable future for a little bit, but I'm happy. I'm happy you like it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, looks good. It was Derek Brunson any sort of inspiration here? We know Blonde Brunson was doing quite well in the UFC.
I tell you what, Derek Brunson, I mean, because I know him, so there's definitely someone I thought about and got a lot of comparisons to. I'm thinking more Kevin Randleman. You know what I'm saying?
Love it. Love the reference. Love
You know
Kevin
what I'm
Randleman.
saying? Maybe even a little Dennis Rodman energy. You know what I'm saying? It's funny how many people I've gotten comparisons to since I've dyed my hair. Pete Davidson, Charles Oliveira, Brunson. When it grows out a little bit longer, my black roots come in underneath. I get a lot of Justin Timberlake because I got curly hair. So, old school NSYNC. So, shout out to all my people who know the bye, bye, bye. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they know exactly what I'm talking about.
You mentioned it there. Never fun to talk about a loss, but what did you learn the most in that fight against Rinat?
That fight, there was a lot of lessons. You know what I'm saying? I thought and sometimes I still feel like this way, but I kind of felt like a superhero. You know what I'm saying? Uh, because that fight was on short notice. I got it on 17 days, but it wasn't even offered to me. I asked for the fight. You know what I'm saying? I saw that he was available. I wanted to fight. I said I thought I could win the fight. Um, and overcoming when you're fighting, you always got to overcome things, right? There's always obstacles to overcome other than just the person. That's the biggest obstacle, is the person you're fighting. But there's life and everything like that. In this case, I took a short notice fight. About 10 days out, I sustained like a pretty debilitating injury. You know what I'm saying? I thought I would be able to work through it, but Renat was just way too good. You know what I'm saying? I didn't give him enough credit. And then a lot of people don't know this. I got really sick the week of the fight. I was actually in the hospital the day before. Like the
Oh, wow.
commissioner was thinking about not letting me fight. Like I had to beg them to let me fight. And so I was definitely pretty severely compromised going into that fight. With all against Renat, someone of that caliber, someone hasn't lost in 10 years and they're on like an 18 fight winning streak or whatever. You're never going to be 100% going into a fight, but there's just so many different things to that were big achievements before I even got into the cage. So it was that was just that, realizing that, you're not superhuman. And sometimes, you know, you got to look at the situation realistically. You got to evaluate yourself realistically and, make solid decisions. You know what I'm saying? Real life isn't always a movie. And then just on top of that, what happened in the cage, like I said, I'd always, over the past several fights, I think I've gotten a little too comfortable, letting people. I wasn't afraid of getting taken down, because I was so good with my get ups and I was comfortable off my back. Um, But like I said, I took this injury and it made it way harder to get up, especially with someone like the pressure Rinat had. So, um, after that fight, I was just like, man, I gotta get back on my takedown defense. I really just need to just not end up on my back. Period. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't matter who it is. So, just stuff like that. A, a lot of just changes to the way I approach things and things like that. So, it was really good. I learned a lot of things from that fight. I would love to fight Renat again. That'd be I can't wait till I hope he doesn't lose so that I cannot lose and then we can make a really big rematch down the line. But or in my next, I don't care. Whenever I can get Renat again, that'd be dope. But yeah, I learned a lot. It made me a better fighter, and I can't wait to get back out there on May 13th and show off a little bit.
Fighting Gabe Green. If I'm not mistaken, you guys have the same management. Was a fairly easy negotiation?
Listen, it was another thing where it was funny when his fight with Jake Matthews got booked. I had a teammate. He sent it to me. He was trolling me a little bit because I almost got booked to fight Jake Matthews like last year before he fought Paulo Filo. And so once again, I want to fight. You know what I'm saying? I'm feeling healthy. And then I saw that Jake dropped out. Someone sent it to me. You know what I'm saying? I messaged Jason, our agent, and I was like, hey, are they saving Gabe for somebody? He was like, you want that fight? I was like, I'd love that fight. And that was it. So
simple as that. Okay.
At
Well,
least
that's
on
good.
my end, you know what I'm saying? I don't know what else was happening on their end, but yeah. Gabe seems like a game guy. We got the same representation, but we live on opposite sides of the country. So
I was gonna say, yeah, no real connection other than having the same person set up your fights. And then as far as that camp, how's that looked? Who you mainly working with? Who's helping you get ready for this one?
Camp so far has been great. You know what I'm saying? Like, once again, we took it. I mean, it's not really short notice. I had about 6 weeks. But I was already basically I was in fight shape. I just had to, get my weight down a little bit, skill wise. I feel super sharp. Gabe's size is good for me because I have a lot of training partners at my gym that also have that same frame, same height, all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? About the same weight and everything. So I've actually been able to get some really good looks with some of my teammates in the gym. Main training partner right now is my teammate Jonathan Martin. You know what I'm saying? He just won the Aries FC lightweight title. So he's been my main person. We've been getting after it. And yeah, man, I mean, everything right now is going very well. You know what I'm saying? I love where I'm at right now. I'm excited to see where I'm at in a couple weeks when we're peaking and whatnot. So I'm stoked, man.
And probably going to have a lot of hometown support in this one. How many people have been hitting you up for tickets? How many people are you expecting out there for this fight?
Man, how many people are going to be out there? Man, it's going to be a lot of people. Last time I fought at home was in 2018 against, Impa Kasanganay. I don't know if you.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I know Impa. Yeah.
Yeah, we fought for the amateur 185 title for, the local promotion at the time. And like that was, you could hear in the audience, it was like, let's go Pooh Bear, you know what I'm saying? And then on the other end, they were chanting for Impa too. It was crazy. The energy was just off the charts. And so at the Spectrum Center, in that period of time, that was people who either trained with me or knew me that were going there. Now it's people who know me, people who train with me, people who I've come across at different promotions, what I'm saying, regional promotions, just going and helping out with my teammates, people who are just fans of the sport, who love the fact that I'm representing Charlotte. So there's going to be a large contingency of Bryan Battle fans out there. And I just can't, it's like a dream come true. You know what I'm saying? Like you always, as a fighter, dream about fighting at home in front of your people. And, but, the UFC is a global sport. So, realistically, it's not something that you're really expecting to happen. Like even with this fight, I thought it was going to be in either South Carolina, which I was still pretty stoked about because I was really close to home, or Nashville, Tennessee. and I was in the car where I was driving from strength and conditioning to my MMA gym, Carolina Combat, and my teammate who was with me, he was like, "Oh, you're fighting in Charlotte?" And I was like, "Nah, man, they're still talking about it. I don't know, it might be in South Carolina, it might be in Nashville." He was like, "No, no, no, no." And he showed me the Instagram post the UFC had put out, and I was just like, you know what I'm saying? I lost my mind. It was, um, and so, this is something I've dreamed about for a long time. So, I'm pretty stoked. I'm ready to show out.
Now, you mentioned for the last fight you were hospitalized. Was that weight cut related or was that something else? And that sort of brings me to my next question. How is the weight cut going?
It wasn't that it was related, but not strictly because of the weight cut. It was mainly because I just got really, really sick. I just got like a really
Oh, okay.
stomach virus, and so like that made the weight cut way hard. Like because weight wise, I didn't have a ton of weight to drop, but
Mhm.
I was just sick and I didn't have any energy, and so the weight cut was pretty gnarly. But it was when I started trying to rehydrate, and I was trying to rehydrate, and I was literally just throwing everything back up. You know what I'm saying? And then the EMS people they're like guess sitting by the bathroom door. I don't know if someone heard me throwing up or they were just sitting by the door, and so they just kept on. They came in. They're like, "Hey, do you need to go to the hospital?" I was like, "No, get away from me." I
Right. Yeah,
was
yeah.
like, "Get away from me!" And I was like trying to run away from them, and they kept on following me. And eventually, a UFC person, they were like, "Hey, listen, you're okay. You can go. You can go and get what you need done, so you can be ready to fight tomorrow. We'll give you we'll give you a pass." Um, so it wasn't like and this weight cut, once again, I'm waking up about 97, 98 right now. So, just want to keep on losing a couple pounds a week. Hopefully coming to fight week about 190. If I come in 190, then that's money. You know what I'm saying? We got a system. It'll be easy peasy. So, as easy as a weight cut like that can be. But so as of right now, I feel good. I feel confident about everything.
Gabe Green's never been finished in the UFC. In fact, you have to go all the way back to January 2017, the last time he was finished in a fight. With that said, how's this one playing out?
I feel like you set me up for something right now. You know what I'm saying?
No,
I
I'm
feel
just
like
I'm
you're
just
teeing me
asking
up.
how you think it's going to go down, honestly.
Um,
Like, and it's sort of bringing up his durability, right? Like even a guy
yeah,
like Ian Gary, who's got knockout power, wasn't able to finish him.
yeah, no, he is. That's kind of the big thing that stands out the most about him is how tough and durable, and he seems to be able to push the pace. He has really good cardio. Um, but that's what people said about me for a minute. You know what I'm saying? I was one of and I personally I hated when people, you know what I'm saying? Because if the first thing people bring up about you is your durability and your cardio, that means that you've taken some ass whoopings. You know what I'm saying? You've just
Right. Yeah.
you've been durable during those ass whoopings. So, um, but Gabe, he's like you say, he's a tough, dangerous guy. You know what I'm saying? To not be finished in the UFC, that's just especially you're fighting guys like D Rod, Phil Rowe. Um, I can't remember the Canadian.
Oh, Johan Lainez. Actually,
Yes,
Johan almost finished him in that first round, and then he was able to survive and come back and finish him in the second.
yeah, and that he's a dangerous dude. And then like I said, Ian's another dangerous guy. He's a tough dude. Um, but with that being said, I'm a totally different fighter than all those guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, when it comes to pace, when it comes to pressure, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to toughness, when it comes to durability, like I own all those categories, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it should be a pretty fun fight, you know what I'm saying? I think there's going to be a lot of punches, you know what I'm saying? There's going to be a lot of contact, and I wouldn't be surprised if one of us goes down, you know what I'm saying? I know that's kind of how I'm approaching this, you know what I'm saying? I'm not approaching this to go 15 minutes, you know what I mean? So we'll see how he responds, we'll see what his game plan is. I'm assuming that he's going to be coming off of that Ian Gary fight like probably like a brand new fighter, you know what I'm saying? I'm sure he learned a lot in that. He learned how to, execute things better. He might, coming off a loss, he's probably going to have a sense of urgency just like I do. So, um, I think he's going to come out looking for a finish, and I'm coming out looking for a finish. I want that feather in my cap. You know what I'm saying? To be the first guy to finish Gabe Green, even though he's fought all a bunch of guys who are considered finishers.
Speaking of finishes, your old division middleweight, we have a new champion, Israel Adesanya, getting it done over Alex Pereira. What was your reaction to seeing that finish?
I mean, it wasn't much different than anyone else's, man. Because I picked Stylebender going into that fight, but it was a very I was like, it's like I feel like he should win this fight, but who knows? Like Pereira is such a monster. You know what I'm saying? He's such a monster, and like he was someone I had been following him since kickboxing because of Stylebender, right? Like Stylebender popped off. You start looking up Stylebender, you're like, whoa, this guy beats Stylebender. Like you start watching the stuff, and you'll even in kickboxing, he was terrifying. You know what I mean? And so. And not to mention he's gigantic. You know what I'm saying? Like I know their last fight, he walked in the cage at like 220 something pounds. You know what I'm saying? That's just he's one of the few people that frame wise can make Stylebender look small in the middleweight division. And for Stylebender to have all the past fights go the way they went, to be able to stand in front of them, to have the wherewithal, to sit there while Pereira was unloading his hardest shots, throwing knees, throwing hooks, and to see the opening and take it, it was just, I mean, that was beautiful. You know what I'm saying? That's probably a fight that will live on in MMA fans' minds for a long time. That's probably one of the most prolific rivalries and finishes up to this point that I've seen in MMA personally. I mean, there might be recency bias, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you give me a month and, I'll settle down a little bit, but that was just, it was literally like a sequel to the first movie. You know what I'm saying? Like you could almost make a couple movies out of this rivalry. So it was tremendous. I know they're not going to do the third fight, but I can't think of a fight in the UFC I'd rather see than a third fight between Pereira and Stylebender. You know what I'm saying? It's like watching freaking an F1 race. You know what I'm saying? You make one small mistake, you make one wrong move, the caliber of the guy you're going against is going to capitalize on that. So it was awesome. The level was crazy, the finish was crazy, afterwards was crazy, everything about it.
Why'd you change your nickname? I noticed you're going by, is it the Butcher now? Is that your new name?
It's the Butcher now. Yes, sir. Well, I changed it last year after because the gym I had trained at for a long time, we had a split, and it was really a lot of changes in life. You know what I'm saying? I became a dad. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I was competing at the highest level, and Pooh Bear was something. It started off as a joke. You know what I'm saying? It stuck. But I would say really after I fought Trey Sean, and I was looking in the back in the locker room with all those guys when I was in the back, and Shavkat was in the back, you know what I'm saying? Chitty was in the back, all these monsters and killers. And I'm just looking around, I'm just like, dude, I gotta be a monster, I gotta be a killer, you know what I'm saying? And so, I started listening to a lot of Benny the Butcher, you know what I'm saying? And just kind of, I had a little flip, I had to take it up another notch, you know what I'm saying? I felt like, Pooh Bear, that, like, I'm content, you know what I'm saying? If I'm Pooh Bear, I'm content, you know what I'm saying? I'm happy to be here. That's like something, hey, look at me, I got this nickname that's, different than what you would normally see from a fighter. But now, you know what I'm saying, I feel like the Butcher really reflects more of who I am when I'm fighting, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so that's just kind of, my life changed, I changed, and so I changed my nickname, you know what I'm saying, to kind of reflect more of the mentality I'm taking in there as a fighter. You know what I'm saying? I don't need anybody looking at me because I got a goofy nickname. I want people looking at me because I just murdered someone. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. I like the switch. That definitely makes sense. Just quickly, you mentioned Treyshawn Gore, that fight. Treyshawn's fighting Bo Nickel. What do you think of that fight that they're putting that together? I just talked to him the other day, actually.
That's crazy. Trey actually called me before I got all over the place. I think he called me right after they called him. He was like, yo, man, they're talking about me fighting Bo Nickel. And, he was through the roof. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy for Trey. That's a great opportunity. Really tough opportunity. Bo Nickel, that guy's a problem. You know what I'm saying? That guy, he hits hard, obviously. His wrestling is crazy. His submission game isn't probably as good as, these guys he's fighting are making it look out to be. That's why I'm excited about this fight with Trey, because on paper, I think on paper you pick Bo to win that fight. Trey doesn't have way more experience than him or anything like that. But what I do know is from fighting Trey in the past is that he's not just going to roll over and let Bo beat him. You know what I'm saying? Like Trey's gonna, if Bo takes him down, Trey's just not gonna roll over and let him tap him out. You know what I'm saying? If Bo Nickel taps Trey out, I'll be impressed with Bo. You know what I'm saying? That will give me more of an idea of where Bo is. You know what I'm saying? If Bo is able to withstand some barrages by Trey, you know what I'm saying? That'll be good, because then you'll be like, okay, you know what I'm saying? He can handle these things in the cage. You know what I'm saying? It to me is just a really good fight for both guys. You know what I'm saying? For Trey, it's a tremendous opportunity. He beats Bo Nickel. He skyrockets himself. You know what I'm saying? For Bo Nickel, if he wins this, then we have a lot more idea of where he's at as a UFC fighter. You know what I'm saying? So I'm stoked for that fight. I'm excited for Trey to have that opportunity. And I can't wait to watch that, man.
That's great. And I can't wait to watch you fight again, man. May 13th, UFC Fight Night. If there's anyone you want to thank or anything you want to plug before you get out of here, I'll give you the last word.
Shout out to my wife. I love her. You know what I'm saying? She's putting up with my crazy ass. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jason. You know what I'm saying? Always putting the fights together, making things happen. Of course, I got to shout out to my coach and my team. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be the fighter I am without them. They're awesome. And yeah, man, that's and shout out to the city of Charlotte for backing their boy. We're gonna take over the Spectrum Center on May 13th. I'm gonna walk out, dreams and nightmares. The roof is gonna blow off the building. It's gonna be crazy. I can't wait.